it's time for Measure Twice.
Welcome to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger right next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors. Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. Well, it's a glorious day here in the studio. Very luxurious. Yeah, I'm saying that
because Chris brings the sunshine.
He's Mr. Sunshine.
I'm just radiating sunshine today.
You are my sunshine. My
only sunshine?
Only sunshine. I say that because it was really funny before we got on the air. It was adjust the seats time, like we share the studio, so other people come in, and I'm shorter than most people, so I gotta get it in high chair mode. And so Joel, you have the Detroit lean chair today.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And Chris is a fiddler from way back.
Yeah,
he couldn't not adjust his own seat.
Even I was just trying to figure it out for Joel so he could fix it.
And now you have a Detroit lean.
Oh, sorry, I'll get closer to the mic. I'll just recline back.
Two of the handiest people I know. We're not figuring out these NASA style chairs. In here.
There's nothing to figure out. They're trash.
It really is. They are trash. Except for those, we have our purple chairs over here for our guests. Like from the Merv Griffin TV show. What style are those chairs, Chris? We're looking at these chairs in the studio. Are they modern?
Mm-hmm.
How modern? Like 1980?
Oh, before that. 50s, 60s, probably, with the tubular.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's just a newer adaptation.
I mean, you can tell that they're new.
Yeah.
But they're not really new. I mean, they're probably 20 years old. Right?
Well, but nobody sits in here.
That's true. That's true. They are heavier than they look, too. If you try and move them, they're like 1 million pounds.
They're tubular.
That's why they sit there.
Totally. Yeah. Sorry. Any person under 35 listening to this has no idea what we mean by totally tubular.
Totally. For sure.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Valley Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally tubular.
You're going back to your surfing days, huh?
Right. Right. Gag me with a spoon. That's how far back
that one.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
Yeah,
on the album there. But is there such thing as California style?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you see that in the Midwest at all?
Somewhat.
What would that be? It doesn't
a lot of white.
It doesn't mean beach though, does it?
No.
No. Okay.
Natural wood tones, white upholstery.
A lot of white.
Casual, easy.
Right. When you say casual and easy, I'm going to get price conscious here for a second. When I think casual, I think inexpensive.
Not necessarily. Doesn't have to be inexpensive.
No. I'm not saying
normally it's not, but
yeah, that's what I figure, because it's like when I think casual, I think like denim.
Oh, no.
Imagine a denim couch. Did they have denim couches?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yep. Denim fabric. Mm-hmm.
Is that good?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't see it much. You don't see it, I don't see it much anymore.
Well, you don't see it in south of Canada.
No.
Isn't that a Canadian tuxedo, like a denim jacket, jeans?
Oh, don't know.
That is.
Never heard that before.
Now you've heard it.
That has nothing. That's not very luxurious.
No, it's not very. We wanted to talk about luxury.
Would
today.
denim ever be
luxurious?
Yeah, like
Is there luxury denim?
Yeah. Yes, there are.
So there are luxury denim.
Oh, you betcha.
But the style's not luxury.
Style's not luxury, but it's the branding of it, and the denim is denim. But yeah, I mean, you can go online and find a pair of jeans for $2,000.
Well, yeah, I meant,
but that's luxury.
That's true. That's luxury because it's expensive, not because it's plush, right?
There's probably some differences from a Levi to a Gucci.
Yeah.
It
Not
can't be
raking-
that much.
You're not raking leaves in your Gucci's. Only
probably
because
not.
you spent a lot of money.
Want to bet?
That's true.
This guy over here.
I do not have Gucci jeans.
Oh, okay.
You would, though.
No.
Gucci
No.
shorts.
Nope.
Gucci cutoffs?
You
Nope.
see him out there
I
in his Gucci cutoffs.
totally
I'm not
can see
a
that.
total. I'm not a fan
Of jeans or
of
of
Gucci.
Gucci?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gucci's a very brand forward brand.
Yeah. I'm not. First of all, I'm not going to pay that kind of money for jeans. Period. Why?
I don't,
Sensibilities. I love them.
I do.
When I go to Macy's and can get a pair for, well, I remember when jeans were like $10. And so when I go in the store and I see 80, 90, I'm like, what?
Oh, and that's not even
No,
really
that's not
high
designer.
end.
That's just
Yeah, Gucci jeans are
$1,200, $1,900.
Yeah, and then they're not the only ones. Like, you put insert Hermes, insert name before jeans, and
Right.
it goes up
Yeah.
from there. Makes Lucky
900
jeans look reasonable.
Yeah, $900 a pair. It's like, no. Nope.
Yeah, I don't see that. But there's a layer, right, of individual that is at a certain income that the jeans price doesn't matter.
Correct. Oh yeah, that's any luxury brand.
Right. I know of people that don't shop for jeans. Like, people come to them with the stuff and they don't even talk about the price.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
the price isn't even in it's the adage where you go to the restaurant, and if ever been to a restaurant where there's no prices?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cause if you have to ask, you probably shouldn't be there
Yeah.
because you're not going to like
No.
any of the prices.
Yep.
Same thing with clothes. I know people that live in New York City. They don't go to Saks Fifth Avenue. Saks Fifth Avenue goes to them.
Right.
And they don't discuss price. So that's how you slip in that $2,500 pair of jeans on them, because they don't know what it costs and they don't care.
Right.
They,
Right. It's what they want and they're willing to pay for it.
right. In the design and build world, to a certain extent, that
Same thing.
exists. Right.
It does
To a certain
to an
extent.
extent.
To an extent, because you can kind of get, you can bankrupt yourself, I suppose, if you make some wrong decisions there. But to a certain extent, luxury exists in all phases. Joel, you're a meat and potatoes guy, but luxury exists in building.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a luxury build decision, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, give me. I have my example in my head, but what would you think? Like, what comes to mind when somebody's making a luxury decision on their renovation?
Well, typically it's different finishes, like whatever. I mean, I don't. Give me an example.
Well, I
I mean,
think crown molding's a luxury decision.
depending on the crown molding.
Exactly. That's my point. You can make certain levels of decisions within that. What were you or not? You were.
What?
Chris was like turning red, like.
Oh no! Joel was saying, like, I can think of using marble versus porcelain tile. That's more of a luxury decision.
Right. Like using.
Pretty much any finish you can have a luxury.
Oh yeah, there's a level of. There's unlimited levels.
Right. So there's a bunch of like the concept of luxury is complicated too, because luxury can mean making it easy, right? Making things like way easier on you, right? That's a form of luxury.
Mm-hmm.
There's a form of luxury where it's expensive. There's a form of luxury that it's flashy or looks a certain way. So it's a more of a complicated concept, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just this is expensive. That's not simply
Right, yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it tends to be more expensive because of what it is.
Well, yeah, because conveniences can be is a luxury.
Exactly. You can have a luxury shovel.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's padded handle. I don't know, but it's still a shovel, but there's a luxury version of it. You can have a luxury sofa, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is, that'll have its meaning,
Right. Comfort.
but you can
Fabric.
be luxury in comfort, but you could also be luxury in style.
Right. Well, you kind of want it to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want your
Yeah.
luxury sofa to be ugly and
Right.
uncomfortable. But I think in building, Joel, luxury is the siding you choose. You might choose a utilitarian siding because of the elements you're in, but they might have the same protection in one that's more stylish, or
Yeah.
it's just a complicated situation. It's more complicated.
Yeah.
But a luxury decision's important. Like it transcends. It transcends like
Just the utility.
yeah, right. I mean, when we get back though, I think there's a specific genre of house that we can use to pivot from. We'll talk about that when we come
Okay.
back. This
I'm
is Measured
excited.
Twice.
I am too.
Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. And you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about luxury, that complex statement of luxury. And when we last left you, we were trying to solve that problem. But I think to help with the luxury argument, right, we should look at the simplest form of home design, I think. And you guys are going to be all over me because I'm probably wrong, but whatever. In the last century, and isn't that like Craftsman, right? Like
I thought you were going to say double wide.
okay,
That's never mind.
single wide would be
Yeah.
the simplest, but no, I mean like kind of like where it was mostly about form or function. Sorry,
That's
what is that? Do I have that wrong? Which
Craftsman was about the beauty of the form,
right.
yeah, exactly, but
or the
not.
beauty of the function, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of luxury. Like that doesn't scream luxury. Is all I'm saying. The silence is telling.
I have to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not frilly. It's not frilly like
I disagree.
This is why we do this, Joel.
yeah.
But the form, but put a pin in that. I can't. He's like the thoroughbred in the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, but right? Is that it's all about the beauty of the function?
Chris is not sure.
He's like, he can't hold himself together over there.
It's not frilly. It's because it's very geometric and it's very.
So you're thinking arts and crafts.
What's Craftsman?
Craftsman runs a gambit. As far as you're thinking of the Craftsman with the triangular.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. What I'm
That's
thinking.
not
of.
always Craftsman.
I'm actually thinking of a specific house
So am
on
I.
Twickenham.
I'm
that I
thinking
can
of
think
some on Riverside that are stuccoed and round columns and brick, but that's considered Craftsman as well. More of an
Really?
English Craftsman.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Anything English, I don't consider.
English. That's where it started from. That's the birthplace
Brits.
of arts and crafts came from England.
But craftsmen and arts and crafts are hand in hand, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
For the most part, but there's some absolutely incredibly beautiful craftsman style homes that are, when I think of it, because we're talking about luxury here, you
Right.
walk in and you're seeing this beautiful quarter sawn oak trim detail. It may not have a lot of elaborate carving, but it might be arched. It might be, I don't know what you call it exactly, but it's kind of a pointed arch. But you have a little nook with a fireplace and a couple built-in benches. And I mean, I've seen some barrel vaulted ceilings.
But that's really the beauty of the function, isn't it? Well, maybe not a barrel vaulted ceiling, but
Barrel vaulted ceilings,
are awesome.
That's how you know the lottery. Like if I don't tell you I won the lottery, but you come into my house and it's like, wow, every room is barrel vaulted.
But if you went into the dining room, they still had the original leaded glass cabinets that were a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous design of nature. So that to me is luxury.
Feels luxury, right? Because you can make another. See, I think like when you could make a decision, but then you can make another decision that's a little bit more or a touch of excess. I think that's where we see luxury come in. And for lack of a better term, because excess could seem negative. Yeah, I don't mean I'm trying to struggle for a different term other than excess, because I don't think that luxury is necessarily unnecessary. Like if you have a certain house, then there should be some luxury in there. That's why I pick Craftsman, because when you look at that house, you're like, you could sit on the floor in there. I don't know.
There's luxury to Craftsman, though. There's some beautiful panel details and the warmth of wood and things that we don't necessarily build with today or architecturally, or probably mainly because of cost. But to me, a panel library is luxurious.
Right.
When you walk in, when you're in, done several in new construction, you walk in and they've got this absolutely gorgeous coffered ceiling and raised paneling, and that's to me luxury, because it's not typical in certain respects, but when you see it, it's the warmth, the beauty of the wood, just the craftsmanship that goes into creating a space like that.
That's luxury to me. When you're thinking of building something like that, Joel, does the material sometimes change how you build something? Like if you're like with what Chris was just talking about, does that change the way it's installed sometimes? Like if you're dealing with certain woods or?
No, not necessarily.
The laws of physics still.
Yeah.
hold
wood
true.
operates for the most part like wood operates.
And it's the math that goes into the figuring the proportions.
Right.
But I'm just...
Whoa. That's like the Charlie's Angels ring.
Yeah.
He is, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Kramer is Charlie. He does have Chris's Angels. And they're out fighting crime right now.
But my next point was, okay, so you have this beautifully appointed room that with the paneling and coffered ceilings. Now what the next step is adding the finishing touches, which are also going to match the feeling of the space.
Which are luxury style.
Would be luxury style carpets and furniture and accessories and artwork, everything that's going to elevate that space even more. That's luxury.
So this, even though the design is born in utilitarian, simplistic, from there is luxury.
Right.
And I think, doesn't size have a lot to do with that too? I mean, you can, when you have you can have a craftsman house or arts and crafts house all day. If it's 10,000 square feet, that's kind of a luxury situation, right? And what you don't want to do is out square foot your budget so that you can't make the whole place look good,
Right.
That's a kind of an important, facet of luxury, right? But I guess you could have like a luxury room. I mean, if you had a theater room in a modest house, that's a luxury.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a type of luxury for sure.
Technology.
Even if it's not a modest house, it's still a luxury.
Yeah.
True. Right. It's a luxury appointment to that house.
Golf simulators
are going in everywhere. But we can focus on technology coming up, but let's just focus on the style and design. When you're in the middle of a design project and you're making suggestions, you're taking your cue from the customer.
Right.
I know the answer, but I just want to get it started. It's like, there are people that you probably feel are more inclined to make the luxury decision than the pure utilitarian decision.
I think sometimes you have to educate the client as far as, okay, you're building this, you're this is the type of home you're building, but you want to be down here. I think maybe you should look at this to go with this.
Because of what the decision they made.
Right. Here's the scale of the home and the style of the home you're building. Let's not look at, I'm just going to throw this out here. I might get shot for this, but let's not look at luxury vinyl. Let's look at solid hardwood.
Okay.
Well, I
good.
won't shoot you for that.
No, I'm just saying, this is the style. This is the price of the home you're building. This is a better choice for this style home than this.
Right. Because you walk into a certain home and your expectation is not met.
Right. And if the customer ultimately says, no, I want the function of this, I understand what you're saying, but this is still what I want.
But that's what you do. The talk has to happen.
The talk has to happen.
Right.
Yeah. And the beauty of building, though, one of the beauties of building is that you make the math. The building part never changes. Like you still have to do things to build things.
And it's not even new build; it could be remodeling. Okay, it's same process, but in remodeling, it's like, this needs to flow with the rest of the house, so you should do this.
Well, you might say that remodeling puts an extra little bit of complication in because
you don't want it to look like necessarily a remodel or an add-on.
Right. The matching part and the what do we have to do to even do this part?
No, I've been in those houses. Like, oh wow, that's a remodel.
It's like you can't look once you know where it is. You can't look away. It's man, especially like cabinets. Just Sunday, I was like, oh no. You could see like the person did it themselves, which I'm a fan of, but they did not quite match the cabinet. It was they just added cabinets.
Ooh.
And it was not the same manufacturer, not the same lot number. All those things matter. And it's like, but when we come back, let's talk about another luxury that isn't that obvious. This is Measured Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. You are listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about luxury, and we kind of let it slip a little, but there's luxury in technology now. And we're at that point in history where luxury is getting mixed with necessity. What used to be luxury is now necessity. And let me give you the easiest example. In 1935, let's go back, and you built a house. The telephone was not important. It really wasn't in every house.
Right, yeah.
Right? Rural houses, especially. Right? It was like something that was brought in after you built the house.
Yeah.
Right? But then, eventually, when houses are built, they're like, these houses are going to need a telephone, so we're going to put, I think we're there with technology. You're no longer, it's no longer really a luxury to have built-in wiring for high-speed internet. And like that's...
You can't even really do without internet, period.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah. But in 1998, you just had electric outlets.
Yep.
You didn't have.
You had cable jacks.
You had a cable jack,
right?
Which is something that slowed the implementation of like fiber optics and Cat 7, Cat 12 wire, right? Because it was cost prohibitive to have anything other than coaxial cable carry your internet, which slowed it down. I mean, this is like a fact. Now, man, you're as fast as anything, and it's pre-built into the house. When you do a renovation of let's say you do a full-on addition, Joel, that I'm assuming that's a consideration.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be a conversation.
Like, where do you think your TV's going? Where do you think, is there a router that goes in here?
Yeah.
Because you're just screwed if that addition is outside of the amplification of your Wi-Fi.
That's why you bring in an AV specialist.
Yep.
Right. Are you doing that more and more often, or is that one
every job?
Every job. It's important that they go through and heaven knows how you test that. I don't know. It's beyond my knowledge, but
yeah.
When you're building that in, though, who's building that in? Who's doing that, Joel? Who puts that stuff in?
Well, the AV guys.
Is it an electrician or is it a specific AV guy? Are they the same guy? I guess is what I'm same person. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah. Typically, you have AV guys that are running stuff.
Have you gone into house under construction and seen the amount of wiring that is now in a house? It is
for that.
Yeah, it is literally mind-boggling to me to know what goes with how you wire all of this, because there's hundreds of wires.
Right. Different wires doing different.
I mean, your electrician's making sure that power is where it needs to be for the AV guys, but they're the ones who have the expertise in what goes where. And
so there is an AV specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's in the last, 10 years that showed up?
I mean, it's been around before that, but it just has expanded for sure.
Well, because technology has changed so much. So because now you can have, Control 4s and everything can be done with your phone, and you can turn the lights on while you're driving home, and you actually can even have it. The sun hits a certain, direction and the lights come on. And so, there's just all kinds of technology out there now that makes our lives, I don't know if it's easier or.
Yeah, I don't know if that's easy. You can't imagine how easy life is until you focus on the way it was before.
Right.
I don't know if that's fair to say. It's not like we're not shaming technology.
No.
But
it's technology is designed to make our lives, I would think, easier and and more efficient.
But that would lend itself to luxury.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's I don't know if that's luxury anymore. Some of these luxuries are turning into necessities.
Certain things are turning into everyday.
Right.
Like, this is just something that's going to be a part of everything that we do, because it's just commonplace.
Right.
But there are still luxuries. It's just like with all the other things we've talked about so far. There are levels to it. So there is this, like a super luxury with those things too.
Right. Because not everybody's going to put in Control 4.
Right.
But you need internet.
Internet's happening.
It's a new utility that you have to have. But you don't have to have Control 4.
That you think you have to have.
Well, and you might want to. You do think you think you have to have it.
Well, can't stream.
Yeah. How would Chris watch his shows?
That's right. Doggone it.
You have to explain what Control 4 is.
It's kind of like a whole house automation system that
not kind of like it is.
It is. It is. It controls your lighting and in the mood lighting, and
is it brand
to your clock or your locks, your
Is it brand specific?
Shades, whatever you want, anything that you want to have automated.
Yep.
So
HVAC.
It has to be like Ring or GE or Google or. No, it's homogeneous. It'll accept all of that stuff.
Typically, people have their Sonos stuff, or used to. I don't know, if it's still a thing or not, but
I feel like
I don't hear it very often. But like that you could tie that in,
right? It just makes it so that you can tie the whole house. And I just wanted to, and that seems like a luxury right now.
But it is a luxury because not everybody puts it in,
right?
But eventually, it'll be like, wow, you have light switches.
Well, and it's kind of funny you're talking about technology blinds, for example, in household blinds for your windows.
Right.
At one point, all you had was manual. You had to raise them and lower them yourself. Now, almost everything is motorized.
Really? Which not too long ago, it was the opposite.
The opposite.
In the span of this, well, we've been on a long time, but you know, when we talked about our first blind show, the mechanical was like this crazy, you know, if you're really crazy, you have this mechanical stuff.
Right. Yeah. If you can afford this, you can have all these mechanical blinds. Now it's almost the norm.
Now it's like, how do you
what? I have to use a crank?
Yeah, and that, you know,
lift it manually.
Here's the thing, right? In the world of a big blind, right? Look at the cost. The cost isn't so different anymore, and that's really what happens.
Right.
When the costs start to be the same, it's like, wait, I can have a mechanical one for
about a little bit more than a
3% more than a manual.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Right.
You know, like, why wouldn't I? I should just have a mechanical one that operates all the time. You know, like,
and if you have higher windows that you need protection for, and it's too high to manually operate the blind, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
it kind of opens up it's really funny how a luxury opens up your ability to have different design aspects, because now you can accomplish things that you couldn't accomplish.
But then is it still luxury?
Well, that's my point.
Because now you've taken a luxury item, made it more common for every day. Is it no longer a luxury, or is it the luxury feature, the mechanisms?
Joel's just going to go in his truck and rest his head on the horn.
I am. Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Technology points that out more than anything.
Right.
And you made the talk about the vinyl floor decision if you're in a certain house. That type of floor used to be a luxury.
The vinyl?
Yeah.
No.
Vinyl plank, the luxury vinyl?
Just because they call it luxury doesn't mean it was a luxury.
Well, my point was your choice was tile or vinyl.
Or linoleum.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But what happened is, I think through the course of technology again and improving, the vinyl planking first emerged in commercial applications.
Mm-hmm.
And so the companies probably got together and said, hey, if we do this commercial, let's make this residential, and we'll make it look better, more like wood and blah, blah, blah.
Right. That's where I'm going. You couldn't have a wood floor. It was too luxurious. Now you kind of can.
And the selling feature of a luxury is you don't have to necessarily worry about it. It doesn't scratch. It doesn't warp. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. Whereas hardwood scratches and can warp and blah, 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 blah. But a hardwood floor is permanent. I mean, it's going to last.
Right. And we talk about that.
Yeah.
So
to me, that's the luxury of the hardwood.
Really luxury.
That's the luxury. You only do it once.
And vinyl plank is not luxury, but there was a point where it was, because it wasn't linoleum.
Right. Well, I understand what you're saying.
That's my point. Like, you can look like you have a hardwood house, hardwood floors, but you don't.
Right. So that's a luxury, but it's not an expensive luxury.
No, but it wasn't a necessity.
Correct.
You could have linoleum.
Right. Ugh.
Anybody's had to take we're running out. When we come back, let's talk about let's wrap up this luxury discussion when we come back.
We can go on and on and on about this.
But we have to stop because we're out of time. Hang on. We'll be right back. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with a showroom now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about luxury, and we've brought it home philosophically, because what was luxury turns into perceived necessity, right, Joel? Right. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
And we could go on and on, Chris, about like vinyl.
I couldn't think of just how you could take a standard hardwood floor, which it could be luxury, but how do you can even make that hardwood floor even more luxurious? Just
with your finish.
You could add borders, or in a contrasting wood. You can add Greek keys. You can do a herringbone pattern. You can.
Ooh.
So that takes up standard item that might be perceived as luxury, but you can improve on that even more so.
Right. And so I don't want to confuse luxury with like frivolous decision.
I mean, depending on where you're at, that's not frivolous necessarily. That's just luxury.
When does luxury turn into extravagance?
When you have a fountain in the house.
So if you walk into a house and there's a fountain, you're like, everything here is just over the top.
Yep. You know then.
But you see my point, because there's luxury, and then there can be extravagance. And I'll give you
yeah.
But I'll give you one that is an example. It was years and years ago, but I showed you a picture of a swimming pool that was glass and on the second story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Oh,
that's
man.
Technology.
I want
really
one.
Cool.
I want one. It's like SeaWorld with people.
But think about it. I mean, you may not have been able to do that 10 years ago because if technology has improved
right
to allow that to happen.
I can't even imagine how heavy that is.
Weight load.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't see that as extreme luxury. I just think that is amazingly cool.
Yeah. It's just cool.
And
that's still luxury.
Yeah, it is still
that's
luxury.
Luxury for sure.
Top end luxury right there, man.
You could have put that on the ground floor. That's all we're saying.
But
why would you do a glass one?
But why?
I guess if you can do it,
go big or go home.
But there is extravagance. I'll go back to my roots in New Jersey. There's a home that's got gargoyles and there's cherubs and fountains everywhere, and that's kind of over the top. Chris is refuses to judge that.
I do, because if that's their dream house, if that's their style of architecture that they enjoy, is that extreme?
I guess not. He makes a good point. I don't know. I guess
it seems like it's a little extreme,
but I think
that's fine. Like
he's just saying to our sensibilities, it is
right.
But not to that homeowners. You and I might drive by and go, "Oh my gosh, what were they thinking?" But
somebody quiet this house down.
They're driving in, going, "Oh, I just love being here."
You're right. So
it's their personal taste, it's their personal style, and that's their luxury.
So we get to opulence quicker than other people.
But there is a thing called restraint.
Yeah,
and when to pull back and when to let the design just kind of.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can go too much, and then it kind of washes itself out.
Right. Like there's architectural homes around here that they wanted a specific look. They wanted it to look like a castle or whatever. And
I can't think of one. It looks like Disney World. I won't say the road because everybody will know exactly what I'm talking about.
But, we might go by, that's not.
But they're like, I want a turret.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I want a moat. I want it to look like
this is what I want. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have, don't you worry about it. I agree. I'm all about freedom. Do what you want to do, man. It's great, but my sensibility, it turns into opulence faster for me than it does some people, where I'm just doing something to do something. The utilitarian luxury is the last subject. And I was in a home that this woman bakes. This woman does a lot of cooking, and she has a commercial mixer, like what we call a commercial counter mixer.
Mm-hmm. Like
I'm not talking about
the big dog.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about KitchenAid. This is I can't think of the manufacturer, but if I said it,
I know what you're talking
about. I can't remember Hobart. This is a Hobart commercial counter mixer, right? And you're like, who on earth needs that? And it's like,
she does.
She does, because it actually makes her life way easier. Because it's the kind where the pot, I don't know what you call it.
It like tips and
you don't have to lift it. It
Those
just
things are sweet.
You know what I'm talking about then, right?
I know what you're talking about. Do you think that's luxury or necessity?
So that's my point. It is a luxury because technically you can accomplish everything with the biggest KitchenAid. But there's so much cooking going on,
right,
that it's kind of necessity.
Right.
So does she have like what are her ovens?
Blodgett. She has a Blodgett convection, like flat out commercial. It is. Who was talking about the gas?
Fridge and
fridge,
freezer. Like she has a big. Does she have like
it's a double
real
door.
big?
She has two double door. So she has a double door freezer next to a double door refrigerator. She's got a lot, and she's not commercial cooking, but she loves to entertain. She loves to bring food. She's retired, so she doesn't, and now she's doing that's her hobby. She's an accountant.
Yeah.
I mean, a pretty good accountant, and her family owned, an agency. So they did okay. But when they made their new house, it was like, this is it doesn't look like a commercial kitchen. That was the other thing. Right. It's all like super homey.
Right.
Like you don't walk in, you're like, this is a utilitarian kitchen.
Yeah.
It's a luxury kitchen because the oven that she cooks on is, has burner, like it's not like, it looks like a family kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you look at her utensils and I'm like, is that luxury? They're super expensive.
Yeah, but it's luxury, but it's also for them a necessity.
Yeah. And anybody that has ever had to pour something out of a mixer once, that hinge just, you don't have to lift it type thing is, that's like,
especially the older you get.
Yeah. 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 She's, for example, she's on her 20th wedding cake.
Oh, well, gosh, that's definitely, she needs commercial products, not just.
And she don't charge.
Oh, wow.
I wish I'd known that. I would have gotten her for my daughter's wedding that's coming up.
I think you got to know her to do it, but that's like her.
But you know her.
I do know her.
It's like once removed.
That's what we've come up with. Thank you so much for listening. This is Measure Twice.
Podcasts by Federated Media.